I'm going to pass things over to Cobra Venom. Cobra is the producer of the Pylon Show. You guys know him. You guys love him. He's been here for 37 years now, helping keep this operation running. Cobra, would you like to take a few minutes and chat about what people can expect from the Pylon Show going forward? I know you got a couple updates and announcements for us. I'm going to pop to the restroom very quickly, and we'll let our other guests off the hook. Cobra, if you would take a moment and fill the people in on what's going on, please.
Thank you, Creighton. There's been some questions as what's going on. We need to give a peek behind the scenes as to the future and what the past has looked like a little bit. No, the show is not dead. Yes, the last 2 months have been a bit bumpy with shows on and off. There's a bunch of factors for this. One of which was we wanted to have different hosts hosting different types of content. Artosis has been a little bit busy with family stuff and needed to spend a little bit more time with that. And he also runs 3 different jobs and has 4 or 5 kids at this point. He's quite busy, but he is not leaving. He's still going to be the primary host. He's just taking a little bit of a hiatus here. This is not saying goodbye to Artosis in any means. We are just having some different hosts come in for the next month or so, maybe a little bit longer. He will be on and off throughout some of these weeks. On the topic of other hosts, we thought since some of these people are doing the work of hosting the show, and that's a big responsibility for them, it would also make sense to share some of the benefits of this as well. So this is why we've actually been having them host the show on their channels. Like this, you might watch this on YouTube later or listen to it in a podcast, but it's actually being hosted on Creighton Olsen's channel. If Roddy hosts a show, it goes on his channel. This feels a little bit more fair for them, as they're putting in a lot of work for this. Historically, most of our viewers and listeners do come from watching the show after the fact, not while it's live. We do have an updated intro in the works, and I am in the middle of collecting footage from past guests, and we have some new assets on the way for that. On the topic of upcoming shows, we have next week on the 30th, a 333 relay race. What does 333 mean? We had this idea where we're going to have 3 casters going absolutely ham casting it, and 2 other teams of 3 players each. Only one player is in control at a time, and every 120 seconds or 2 minutes, the player that's currently in control puts up their hands in the air, and the next player in line takes control of this. This should be a kind of fun event. We're going to try to have one player from each different race and have it a best of 7 or something like that, and see how that goes. On the 7th, we are having Roddy host an EU show. Don't have everything detailed for that one yet because a lot of these details take a while to lock down. It's not confirmed yet. We do have maybe Katz interviewing David Kim on the 14th of July. All of these are subject to change. One thing that's kind of a difficult line to walk is updating people on what's going on and not also disappointing them if a planned show has to be rescheduled or canceled or stuff like that. This is one of the factors why it's moving to whoever's hosting the show has it on their own Twitch channel. This frees up and makes it so that if somebody has a sponsored stream here or something there, it can be just moved to a different location and we can still host the show. There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, but we try to update this and keep people in the loop as much as possible. It doesn't always work out perfectly. That's something we need to work on. I'm aware of that. It's something I'm going to try very hard with in the future. Another thing of note is we pay our guests and hosts for their time and work. This is something that Jeff really wanted to do once we reach the $2,000 a month point in Patreon. With the situation we're in now, we're trying to find out how is financially feasible to continue paying our guests and ensure that we can continue the show, because we don't want to have the show stop for any reason really. Our Patreon right now is what's powering the entire show. It's a little bit under 2,000 at the moment. It'll probably come up by the end of the month and we'll be able to pay everybody. That's the plan. Once that's spread out though, over paying for the hosts, paying for hosting fees, paying for podcast uploads, paying people for their time to come on the show, it doesn't pay out a lot, as in it doesn't realistically cover everyone's hourly rate. After the dust settles, honestly, most of the work that's in StarCraft tends to be passion work. However, there's a few things we can do to help with this, and one of which is like landing separate sponsors for the show and providing more and better benefits and communicating with the people a little bit better with this. So this is one of the reasons why the Pylon Show has its own YouTube. To go subscribe to that. It's no longer on our Toasters channel. Hasn't been for a couple months. Get alerts for that. We try to do a decent job of updating the Patreon as well. Even if you don't support the Patreon, you can still follow the Patreon show follow the Pylon Show on Patreon to get updates and alerts. All those things, as soon as they're live, go free there as well. Having the Pylon Show on its own YouTube channel enables a couple of different things to happen. If somebody has a sponsorship with a different company and we are sponsored by somebody else, they won't necessarily clash if they have their own channel. This helps separate a little bit of that, helps make it a little bit more viable to land some sponsors. If you're watching this and you want to support the Pylon Show and become a sponsor, you can email the pylonshow@gmail.com. You had something, Craig?
Cobra, I'll put you in touch with my people at Ferrero Rocher, at Lamborghini, and at Cristal Champagne, and I'll see if they can get us, if nothing else, at least some nice product for the show to hawk. We'll see if the guys at Lamborghini can do that for us.
We'll check that out. As far as long-term plans go, I think that's about it. There's been some personal things in the past month that I don't really feel like publicly talking about. It's nothing I need to hide or anything. It's just I don't need pity or anything like that. But that did take a good couple of 2 weeks chunk of my time and had to travel a little bit for some family stuff. But that's over, and we're trying to get this on a more consistent schedule. If people have any questions, do reach out, message me or the official Pylon Show account on whatever social media platforms you follow it on, and we'll try to respond as best we can the next week or so. Do you have any questions, Creighton, on any of that?
You said you had some family stuff. Did you mean you're in the family way? Because that's exciting news that you should definitely share with everybody, Cobra.
No.
Okay. So, guys, Cobra's
That'd
not
be nice,
pregnant. I got really excited that we might have a little Cobra baby, but apparently Cobra himself is not actually pregnant. That was really my only question. I'm excited to see what happens to the Pylon Show in the future, Cobra. I know you work real fucking hard on this, as does the whole production team. And it's great to see how hard you guys work to make sure this continues going. So at the risk of, jerking ourselves off too hard, you're doing great work here. And I'm excited to see everybody continuing to support the Pylon Show, which I would say is the premier StarCraft 2 talk show in the world. But really, it's the only StarCraft 2 talk show in the world that's like pretty regularly and in English. If the Pylon Show weren't here, we'd have just nothing. So
yeah, massive love for the people who support us, and I hope
it's crazy.
Hope they bear with us if we have a sponsor plug here and there in the middle of, or at the beginning or something on future shows. Understand that goes to making it more stable.
Rocher, if you're listening, Ferrero Rocher, please. So I will happily just send me a tower and I'll put them back on my bookshelf, and I'll just during the show eat 25 of them because I'll 100% do that. But Cobra, unless you've got anything else, let's hop on over to This Week in StarCraft and we can close this thing out.
Let's throw to a 10-15 second intermission, and then we'll come right back with This Week in StarCraft.
Ready to roll, man. Let's go.